So I had gone, at the time, the 9 days that I went was one of the longest I had ever gone without masturbating, if you can believe it. The second time around, I think I went 19 days, if I remember correctly. And I really got a taste of what it was like. Those two were not a complete loss, because they gave me a taste of just what NoFap was like. Because if you had told me about NoFap just a year ago today, I would have thought it's all doom and gloom, there's no reason to live. But I discovered that when I wasn't being bogged down by cravings to masturbate, I actually could ask for a day off with my boss. I could actually close up shop without leaving a disaster in my wake. I discovered that I could put up with other things, right? So for example, the drive here to Phoenix from Seattle. I'm in Phoenix right now. See if we can get some of the desert heat on here. I'm in Phoenix right now. But the drive here from Seattle was a lot better than the drive I made last year. It really was, when I didn't have to think about masturbating. My car didn't get messed up nearly as much. My clothing didn't get messed up nearly as much. And also, I made the drive in 3 days without that much of a problem, right? Didn't have to think about stopping somewhere to masturbate. It's just, actually, to give you an idea of how much better it was, I actually gave myself a lot more time than I needed to make that drive. I started work on a Monday. I left on Tuesday, but I actually got here Saturday morning because I had a bad experience with a really fast drive one time. What had happened was, a year ago, I took a job in Seattle. My boss wanted me to start on a Tuesday, and I left on the previous Thursday, if I remember correctly. So it's about the same speed, but it felt a whole lot slower this time around because I wasn't bogged down by needing to masturbate. Let's put it that way. It's also very different when you're forced to drive fast versus you just want to drive fast, right? But that first 2 streaks of not masturbating really hit home just what not masturbating is. And that's what I want people to realize. NoFap isn't about giving up fapping. It's about opening up life to things other than fapping. See, I wish it wasn't called NoFap. It really should be called Fap Alternative, right? Or life opens up after you don't fap, right? That's at least the attitude I want people to walk in with, right? I wrote a number of new computer games, and I went on a date for the first time in 15 months, or a date with somebody else, I should say. First time in 15 months after I had gone, I think it was 3 weeks into NoFap that time that I had gone on the date. Anyway, so I redoubled my efforts. July 18th was the anniversary of another one of my fantasies. Mary Curie discovered polonium-210 on July 18th, 1898. It was the 124th anniversary of that. I guess you could call her a distant ancestor of Alicia Genazi. And because I used to fantasize about her so much, I decided to start another NoFap journey in her honor. And that's the one that I just relapsed from a few days ago, unfortunately. I did pretty well at another job throughout July and August, although I had a little bit of a problem. I was doing really well with all of our clients, except it was toward the end of August, except I felt very overwhelmed one week. It felt like a day would happen. I had a good day at work, right? But it felt like before I got a chance to completely decompress and recharge from that day and then put everything into perspective, the next day would just be dumped all over me. And before I could recharge from that, well, the next day would dump all over me. I had a time when I had several students who had wacky hours. Not that it really bothered me that much. I had some personal issues, and it just felt too much. And so one Thursday morning, I again faked COVID-19. I don't know what I should fake next time, because I don't think it was. I really felt bad about panicking other people, right? Certainly, the last thing my boss wants to hear is that I had COVID-19 and I was potentially around all these students, right? And also, I don't want to jinx myself again. Feel free to chime in the comments. The next time I feel like I just need 24 hours to recharge, what am I going to fake? Right? Certainly not somebody passing away or getting hurt, like I mentioned. Probably not COVID-19. I don't know. I don't know. What's a safe thing to lie about? All right, leave a comment. Anyways, I faked COVID-19 and I went to the Bellevue Botanical Gardens, and before I knew it, I felt like I was ready to go back to work. Actually, the next morning, I was ready to tell my boss I actually didn't have COVID-19. I wanted to make sure he was comfortable, so I wanted to take a picture of the test. And my camera battery was dying, and it couldn't even stay on long enough to take that COVID-19, to take that picture of the COVID-19 test. It was like, even God doesn't want me to go back to work just yet. So I plugged in my battery, and then I took the picture, and I quickly sent it to him, and thank God, maybe I just ate something wrong or something like that. My boss knows that sometimes I like to try exotic foods, right? So that made sense too. But that just goes to show I didn't hate my job. I just needed 24 hours to recharge. It was so weird. I don't know if it was NoFap related or if there's something else going on. But thank God I wasn't also fapping, right? If I had called out sick just to fap at home, I would feel really, really embarrassed about it. At least I actually did something to recharge myself, right? Actually, if I had called out just to fap, I don't think I would have felt nearly as recharged. Just goes to show, right? So that takes us to early September. I gotta confess though, I didn't go on my long fast in commemoration of 9/11. So back in 2020, back in 2021, every 9/11 I made it a tradition to fast 2,994 minutes. But I was getting ready to move to Phoenix, and I had other things to tend to. I'll make up for it at some point. Well, next week is Yom Kippur. There's the dry fast. Now, next week when I do my dry fast, I'm gonna think hard about if I want to just continue that dry fast until I fade away and go. I really am gonna think hard about that, and because this would be such a wonderful exit point for me. I had a very good NoFap run. I've corrected a lot of eating disorders. I just wrote the #1 AI for the game of backgammon, and for the first time in my life, I'm being accepted for who I am. This would really be a good time to check out, and so I'll think about it. It's a dry fast. It doesn't take very long on a dry fast to go away, and I'll think about if I'll extend it. It's a 25-hour fast anyway. I'll think about if I'll extend it a couple more days until I fade away, and that will be that. Although I want a good resting point when I finally do take that last breath. I'm thinking the Desert Botanical Garden here in Phoenix. I'll head there during the 4th, 5th day of that dry fast, if I were to do it. And well, I would get too much medical attention. It's got to be somewhere where nobody's going to tend to me, and I could just fade away. I'll have to think hard about that. But it's such a wonderful high point to go. I don't want anything else to go wrong between now and when I finally go. And anyway, I feel so lightweight and free. And finally, I have people who accept me for who I am. So where I work right now, I feel comfortable talking about things, right? The other day, I needed to change my schedule so I could go look at an apartment, and my boss was open to that. And yesterday, I made a mistake where that anywhere else I might have gotten a good beating, but I was okay. What had happened was I put the wrong place in the GPS. We have several campuses, and I put the wrong one in the GPS. And by the time I thought I got there, I had 5 minutes, and I realized, hey, these streets don't even look right. Wrong campus! And my boss was very understanding of that. See, I can't imagine getting that kind of treatment back at WTU or at the learning center that I was at. If I went to the wrong campus on the first week of the job there, I just can't imagine. and that's what's making me feel like I have a very fulfilled life and wanting to check out. Anyway, so I had gone on a 69-day no-fap streak, and I hope to do it again, and I'll reconsider if I want to do a end of life fasting this Yom Kippur. It's a dry fast, so it'll be a quick one. Anyway, all right, happy first day of fall. Thanks for watching.